Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denanu and I'm the man with black privilege. And as you guys can probably tell by the sound of my voice, we're going to be talking about something that's incredibly bad, inconsistent, and totally woke apparently. But we're going to be talking about the Batwoman trailer, and this was something that I've heard about before I actually knew it was out. I seen other people talking about how bad it was, and I was like, okay, well, it can't be but so bad. I mean, you know, because a lot of people don't like the CW stuff. But I'm somebody who, I watch all of their superhero shows. I watch Arrow, I watch Flash, I watch Legends of Tomorrow. Hell, I'll even watch the ones that's not theirs, like Supergirl, Constantine. I watch all of that stuff. I'm a huge superhero guy, right? So I remember Batwoman was in, I think she was in last year's crossover episode, and I figured they were going to try to push her for a TV show, because why even have it, you know, why even have her in there? And it was kind of like, I thought they were just testing the character, kind of like, because that's how they did the Barry Allen in the Flash back in Arrow back when, and I thought that was done pretty good. It wasn't bad, it wasn't shitty. It's kind of CW-ish, but I get that. I would rather it have been at least a Robin or Batman, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. But I liked Batwoman as a character. I mean, the comic book Batwoman, like not the, I liked her in the Arrow teaser thing that they had. It was cool. I think that was the episode when they actually went to Gotham. You went to Arkham Asylum. You had all the different things from the Batman, you know, villains and stuff. I thought that was done pretty cool. She was an okay character. But if this trailer is going to be any indication of what the show is going to be like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this one. It just looks like shit. Like, the writing is bad. The whole, I mean, maybe it's just me. Like, I don't mind female leads. I don't mind female superheroes. I mean, I don't even mind, you know, female stuff in real life. A lot of that SJW stuff I agree with, don't get me wrong. Like, I believe women can do almost everything a man can do, right? But I feel like that Hollywood and TV is getting like woke in the worst way, because they just shove it in your face. And I wish that they'd have just came out with this TV show and just have it been just like, okay, female lead character, a couple of other females in the movie, and just not throw it in your face like that. Just have it be itself, you know, have it stand on its own merits. Let's say take something like kind of like the way Daredevil came out. They didn't, you know, try to promote him being, let's say, Daredevil as like the main thing of the show. It was more about what sold that was the fighting, the writing, the story that they were trying to tell, and him being a good Matt Murdock. You know, that's what kind of sold that. Whereas with this, instead of letting, you know, the show stand on its own legs, it feels like they're trying to push this whole female agenda, because like 80% of the people in this trailer were female, and it's something that's weird. And then, you know, because as a man, you see that kind of sort of stuff. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's the same for women when they see stuff that has mostly men in it, but it's noticeable. Because to me, when I go see a movie and I'm watching any movie, I mean this or anything else, when I see like a 90-pound woman beating down a muscle, 200, 300 something pound man, I'd be like, that's bullshit. It doesn't happen. You know, I don't care what kind of fighting style you know. You know, it just doesn't happen 90% of the time. That's why weight classes exist in fighting, weightlifting, boxing, MMA, all that stuff. Because if you take a 300-pound man versus make him fight a 90-pound man, that 300-pound man is going to whoop his ass. That's just the way physics work. That's strength is everything. That's the way life is. It is what it is. So that's why I say I agree with a lot of the SJW stuff, but when it comes to them like throwing that message in your face, you know, or let's say have that character beat down somebody else without explaining why they can make that possible, you know, it just rubs me the wrong way. It just feels like they're trying to shove something in my face, and it's like, okay, look, I get it, you know, but at the same time, it's like, look, I just want to watch a superhero show about some girl dressed like Batman whooping people's ass. I don't want to see feminist agenda Batman. I just want to see Batwoman, you know. You know, that's all I want. But like I said, I don't know why Hollywood has this bug up its ass about that, but the show, it just looks bad. When I'm looking at the trailer, I'm not seeing none of the goodness that I've seen in the Arrow teaser revolving around the character. Maybe because she was only in it for like a few minutes, but this just, you know what this feels like? This feels like a pilot. Like everything they showed in this trailer is a pilot. If you ever see a TV show pilot, the TV show's pilots are usually shit. They're usually trash. They're usually pieces or concepts that they're trying to get across more than anything. Not necessarily the acting. A lot of TV shows will take that pilot and make it the first episode. And then from the second or third episode going forward, the show is actually better because, you know, they've had time to work on what they wanted to promote in the show, right? This feels like a pilot. Like everything about this is bad. The writing, the costumes, the whole feminist agenda, which is incredibly strong in this. Like besides 90% of the people being female, which really shouldn't be the case in Gotham, but you know, that's a whole nother, you know, ball of wax to jump down to that I'm not going to do that. But you got her being gay, which is cool. Don't mind that at all because the character's gay in the comics. They're kind of changing that a little bit because I think she was in love with somebody else, rather than whoever this Sophie person is. They're changing how she looks in general too, because she wasn't a punk rocker chick either in the comic, which, hey, I don't mind. You know, it is what it is. They want to change the character, they can do that. But it's one of those things where it's like she's not even the same character. Like when I'm looking at punk rocker chick in this trailer, right? And when I think of how Batwoman is in the comic books, it's like it's two different people. She's not the same person. Batwoman in the comic books is militaristic. You know, she was from the military just like her dad. She has similar concepts about, let's say, some things that Batman do. She wants to help people, help Gotham in her own particular kind of way. She's like Batman if Batman was more militaristic than being the way he is. So instead of, let's say, Batman, I won't kill nobody. I have my one rule. There's things he won't do. Like he'll fuck somebody up, but it's only gonna go so far. Batwoman, she uses guns. That's something he don't like, because it goes against what he stands for. She's more militaristic when it comes to like, oh, there's a problem, I'm gonna solve it. If I have to kill somebody and I can't think of no other way besides, well, let me explain. I can actually get my thoughts together for a sec. If there's no other way that she can perceive to stop somebody before they kill somebody else, she will kill them, you know? So she's a little bit different than Batman. She's not the same kind of sort of character. And what I think in this show, I think they're gonna take, well, prime example, I think that they don't know who the character is. I think that's problem number one. They're probably seeing the character, they're saying Batwoman, and they're assuming that she's just like, oh, here's a female Batman we can use to push a show and have it not go against the Batman movies and stuff like that, because that's another problem the CW has when it comes to a lot of their superhero stuff. They're not allowed to share characters. Characters that's in the CW are in the CW, and characters that are in the movies are in the movies. They're not allowed to cross over. That's why when they made the Suicide Squad movie, the Suicide Squad was already in Arrow. You know, Amanda Waller, Deadshot, all of them. Most of them. Killer Croc, and I think Harley Quinn wasn't, but they had a teaser with Harley Quinn, and the rest of the Suicide Squad was there, but they took him out of Arrow and put him in the movie. Changed the actors up and everything. But with this here, it's, like I said, I don't know. I feel like they don't know who the character is. Because if you read Batwoman, or if you've read Batwoman in the past, let's say 10 or 15 years, and then watch this is not Batwoman. I don't know who this is. This feels like, oh, here's a woman trying to be Batman, but she's trying to stand on her own 2 feet as a woman, so I'm gonna make all these women and SJW woke jokes. That's what this feels like. And I don't know who that is, because that even wasn't Batwoman. Batwoman wasn't going all around punching people talking about, oh, I'm a woman, I mean, I should, I'm just as good as Batman. Like, no, that wasn't her thing. Her thing was just like, oh, I'm gonna let I'm gonna do my thing, and if Batman don't like it, fuck you. That was her thing. Like, she had to grow to be a part of the Bat family. Batman didn't actually want her out dressed like him at first, but she wouldn't stop doing it, and he was like, okay, if you're gonna be out here doing this, you're gonna do my rules. And that's been a big turning point with her character, is adjusting who she is to those rules, because like I said, that's not her. And in this teaser, it's like, I feel like they're trying to like create a show out of something that doesn't exist, and it just, I don't know. Like, I wish they'd leave all the SJW woke stuff to Supergirl, because I hated it in that show too. And none of this SJW stuff was in the little Arrow teaser that they had with the character. And that's like, you had a couple moments of her talking with Supergirl, and I was like, okay, cool. This seems kind of, I can see what they going, like, I can see what they doing with this. I like that. It was CW-ish, but that's here or there. But with this here, it was just like, I'm seeing nothing good. Like the costumes are ass, the writing is ass, the wigs look cheap, SJW woke stuff. I think the only good thing that I seen in it was her in costume at the end of the trailer with the red wig. Because when I seen like the first couple scenes before that, when she dressed up in the Batman suit and was just like, oh, are they gonna have her like this? Like, are they gonna cut out the red hair? Because that was a thing about her character, right? One thing that doesn't look right though is I think she wears makeup on her face. Because in the comic book she always has like white skin whenever she's in the Batman suit, and in this is like, I guess they didn't do that, so I don't know. They're probably gonna cut that out because it probably looks stupid in live action, but it's just, everything about this trailer was ass. And I will just say this, that joke that they made in the trailer, what was it? It was two jokes that everybody's talking about that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The first one was, oh, that suit is literal perfection, and she's like, oh, it will be when it fits for a woman. I'm like, what? The first thing that popped in my mind, I was like, bitch, please. And the other one was, what did she say? I'm trying to remember how it goes. It was, I can't think of it. My mid-30s brain, old age is kicking in. It was something like, I don't want to take, I'm not gonna let no man take credit for what a woman does, or something like that, right? And in my mind, I'm like, hold on. But yet you're taking all of Batman's credit. You're taking his tech, his suit, his image, everything he got, and then gonna say that shit. Like, it's like the writing in the show is just complete ass in the worst way, and it's like I get it's on CW, I get that. But even when I look at other shows, it's not this bad. Like I think my favorite out of all of them is probably Arrow in like the first 3 seasons. But like, even the Flash was kind of lighter toned. There was a whole lot more SJW stuff, and with that, I didn't feel that SJW message as much. Like, yeah, they changed a hell of a lot from what the comics were. You had a lot of females on the show, but it was one of those things where it's like, you had men and you had women, and they never threw it in your face. It wasn't like, oh, we're trying to push a message. It was more just like, look, here's what our version of the Flash is. And I liked it. I think that the writing in the show got worse as the seasons went on about that, but outside of that, it was a decent show. Arrow was a decent show. You had men, you had women. It wasn't about the message. The message that they were trying to tell people was probably, hey, don't lie to your friends, and and try to be a better person. That's probably, the message was about whatever the season was about. They wasn't trying to push anything. Supergirl, SJW stuff all up in your face, and I feel like maybe the writers, because I think it's the same writer, Greg Berlanti or whatever his name is, I think it's the same guy, but or maybe he's the showrunner, I don't know, maybe he's not the writer, but it's one of those things where it's like, just because I guess you have a female lead character doesn't mean you have to go get woke. maybe they don't understand that, because you can have strong female characters in your movies and just make it a good ass movie. People will promote that anyway. Like hell, like when I think of female characters, there's tons of them I can think of in movies, like Ripley from Aliens, Vasquez, Hispanic chick from Aliens, what's her name from Fast and the Furious, I can't think of her name right now, but Vin Diesel's chick in Fast and the Furious. There's tons of like female characters that can even also be leads that are like strong female characters. You don't have to push that SJW message. And I think what the problem is with that whole thing is it puts a lot of people off. Hell, even certain women don't like that. And that's the thing that bugs me about that. It's like you're making a show and you're pushing this message, and it's like even certain women will be like, man, that's dumb as shit. You know, and that's that should tell you, be like, look, maybe there's something wrong with our message. Like we need to push for better stuff, but maybe we can do it a different way. And that's what I think the issue is I think a lot of people who believe in that SJW stuff grew up, and now in their jobs they're promoting that stuff, and now that it's become more of a movement and stuff online, you know, it's becoming more and more of an issue. And I think the problem is, it's just like with any issue, religion, politics, genderisms and all of that, I want that out of my entertainment. You know, me personally, like, keep it all out. If you want to make a series about that, fine. I'm not saying don't make something about it, but if you're making, let's say, like a superhero show, have that be a superhero show. If you're making a SJW genderist type TV show, showing like a woman and her, you know, dealing with the struggles in her job because she's a woman, hey, do you make that show, you know? But don't try to change other genres and other shows to support your thing. Have it stay on its own, you know? And that's my biggest question, you know, that's my biggest, not question, but that's my biggest gripe with this, is that that's the vibe I'm getting from this trailer. We won't know until it comes out, whenever it does. I'm assuming it's this year if they're playing the trailer for it this fall, but it's just, it feels like a pilot. So what I'm hoping is that maybe they just had a bad pilot episode and maybe when you hit like episode 2 or 3 and the rest of them, that things become better, and that all of this SJW stuff kind of dies off. Like maybe they're doing that to kind of push, you know, like, you know, maybe we got to get some people riled up in order to watch our show. Maybe they're trying to bring in some people, but I'm hoping that this show doesn't turn out to be all female cast lead type show with SJW you know, bullshit throughout, kind of like how Supergirl was, because I hated that in Supergirl. That's what turned me off. Like with Supergirl, I tried to watch it. I got 6 episodes in and then never watched it again until like at the end of season 2, and then I watched sporadically episodes here and there. Like Supergirl gets a lot of the Superman stuff right when it comes to villains and who she fights. I thought that was done pretty good. They brought in a lot of people that they didn't have in the movies and stuff like that. So it's like a Superman show without having Superman. And then eventually they did have Superman. But the whole SJW message and the whole female empowerment stuff, they pushed that so hard it turned me off being a man. And I'm not saying you can't have that. Like I said, if you want to make a show about that. You do you. You know? But like I said, I don't want to see it in my superhero show. The comic books don't push none of that stuff most of the time, until recently. But for the most part, the comic books kind of it's all about the superheroics and the characters and what they have to deal with in their lives, not necessarily her being a woman or her dealing with men and all of that kind of sort of stuff. Usually when it comes to entertainment, the messages and the stuff that you see in it, whether that's comic book, movies, books, or what have you, is the writer's interpretation of what's going on, because they are writing the story. So that's why I'm assuming a lot of this SJW stuff is even in the show, is because the writer is probably one of those woke SJW people, and they don't know how to disconnect their work from their life. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. They just live their life one way, and if, let's say, if they're SJW or if they're woke or if they're even like super religious, they inject that into everything they do. And that's where I have the problem, because me, I'm good at separating that. I don't let my personal feelings or my personal beliefs in something affect what I do or how I treat people. A lot of people can't make that claim. They judge everybody by their religion, or whether they're gay or not, whether they're trans, and all this kind of sort of stuff, and before they even get to know somebody. And I think that's wrong, honestly. Like me, like I have my own beliefs in, let's say, like religious gay people and whether trans people should be accepted and all that. And I've always looked at it like, look, man, they're people too. Give them the same rights as everybody else. But when you have the whole trans thing, I think that people should you have to be separate, because it's like that's a fine line that you have to walk. Because let's say if a woman's trying to be a man, do you have her go to the male bathroom instead of the female bathroom? Where do you draw that line? And that's why I think they should have, like, a trans bathroom, if that's what, if that's what they want to do. But that's a little bit more picky. But when it comes to, let's say, like gay and straight and all that shit, that shit don't matter. They're people like anybody else. But give everybody the same rights and shit that everybody else has. It is what it is on that. That's something I believe wholeheartedly. Look, if somebody is gay, let them get married. Let them be miserable like everybody else. Or if trans people want to get married, hey, let them get married. Who gives a shit? It is what it is. That's their life in their house. Hey, do whatever they want. But back to Batwoman here. I'm hoping it's good, like I said, because judging from what I'm seeing, it looks like a pilot. And like I said before, most shows get better after the pilot. So maybe they just had a shitty director when they did it, and it is what it is. My problem, or another issue I have with this, is this doesn't look like Gotham. I know Gotham's look has changed plenty of times in the comic books. It changes with every movie they come out with. But I'm just seeing nitpick stuff that I'm guessing that they're probably changing. If it were me and I was making the show, like I think they had a SWAT team in the beginning called, I guess, the Crows. And I'm guessing they're gonna be like, oh, the police's SWAT team that's gonna try to, I'm assuming, fix the city since the cops can't do it or some shit. But like, I wouldn't have called them crows. I'd have called them owls. And comic book people would know why that is. Like I would call them that. Just like my Batman side would be like, let's name them owls instead of crows, just to get fans on board. And do certain things to. Like I would make the Batcave look like the Batcave from like the animated series, where you have like the Batmobile, like make up an excuse why she don't, because I'm assuming she ain't gonna be driving around in no Batmobile, right? In the show, they're probably gonna show her on rooftops and shit, like how they do Arrow. But have the Batmobile and make sure, make up a reason why she can't drive. Unless she be like, oh, I can't wait to take this out on the town, and have like, I'm assuming the black guy's gonna be like what, like Lucius is. Oh, I can't talk this evening. Lucius Fox's son or nephew or somebody. She's gonna probably be his tech guy, like kind of like how Mr. Terrific and Felicity was for Green Arrow. And I don't know who else is gonna be in the show. Like, is Alfred gonna be there? Because Bruce Wayne, like if I remember from the teaser, she said, "Oh, Bruce Wayne is gone." So he's gone. He's been gone for like months to like a couple years at this point, or at least during the teaser. And I don't think Alfred was there either. She kept going back to this Wayne Enterprises building, so I'm gonna assume that's gonna be like the Wayne Manor for her, and maybe the cave that they're in isn't, let's say, the Batcave. But I mean, you would have to explain why there's a big ass Batcave under Gotham City, but. Because I think in the comic books it's just at the manor or like the outskirts of Gotham, not necessarily in Gotham, because they got sewers and subways and tunnels and that kind of sort of shit underneath Gotham. So it's kind of hard to believe that, oh, underneath this Wayne Enterprise building nobody noticed this Batcave. So I'm hoping they explain that away. They probably won't. They'll probably just take an elevator down and be like, oh, this cave was here the whole time and only Bruce Wayne knew about it. That's kind of, it's a shitty way of explaining that, but multiverse, You know, this is a whole another Batman that I'm comparing it to. So I mean, it is what it is. They can pretty much write in anything they want. This is the Arrowverse's version of that. So all that we know that Bruce Wayne exists, he's Batman, and Ra's al Ghul exists, and all that other Batman stuff that they said in Arrow exists. But like I said, I'm hoping the show is good. You know, like I said, I'm a fan of all of the superhero stuff. I just don't know how good it's going to be, because judging on this, everybody doesn't like it. I haven't seen nobody on YouTube look at this trailer and be like, oh man, I can't wait to see this. This looks so good. I've been mostly seeing everybody bash this trailer and talk shit about it based on how being woke it is and everything like that. Because this feels, out of the CW stuff, the most woke it's ever been. Because normally the regular CW stuff, like I said before, you don't have none of this stuff. Like, you have females in it and it is what it is. But this one feels like Supergirl. Supergirl was originally made by, I think, what, ABC? It wasn't started off by by CW and WB. So maybe they feel like, oh, that's a female lead superhero show, people like that, so let's make Batwoman, since she's a female led superhero, let's make her show like hers. Maybe that's why they're doing that. But like I said before, I'm just hoping that they're just doing this just to kind of pull in, make controversy, to pull people into watching it, to get people to know who Batwoman is. Because if you walk up to the average person and be like, hey, do you know who Batwoman is? Everybody's gonna be like, who? You mean Batman, right? Bruce Wayne? No. They're not gonna know who she is. Comic book people like myself, we know who she is. If you read anything, with Batman in the past, let's say 5 or 10 years, or hell, even before that with Batwoman comic books, you know who the character is. I think they should have made this show, and this is just me throwing some comic book stuff in here, they should make this show a TV show version of what they've been doing with Batwoman in the past, like 5 or 6 years. Like, in the comics, you have like the Belfry, you have like Batwoman, Robin, Clayface, and I want to say like Spoiler, and like a couple of other people a part of this team. You could take that concept and just make it into the TV show just to be about Batwoman. Say like, oh, instead of having a Batcave, let's say she has the Belfry, and it's a building that was set up specifically designed to be like a headquarters in Gotham City, and have just her operate out of that. And then you could just be like, oh, this is something new that Batman made. He didn't think he would need it, but he wanted to be prepared just in case, and just have her kind of stumble onto it or find it and then use it as her like base of operations. Make up a reason. You could have her running around the first half of the show in like casual clothes, or with a mask on or something, and then let's say have her stumble into the Belfry and just already have a bat suit made for her. Kind of like how in this trailer shows, because they said that suit was made for Batman, but I'll be damned if that bat suit didn't have a pair of titties on it. So yeah, I don't know who they trying to lie to, but that was a female bat suit. They try to catch a lot of people that be like, oh, this suit's perfection. And it was like, it will be when it's made to fit for a woman. Clearly it is. There's a pair of titties right here. Like, they didn't think to switch that out. Like, you didn't make 2 costumes if you're gonna have that. Have a man version and a female version, but anyway. Guess I'm nitpicking on that. But like I was saying, you can have her in casual clothes running around in Gotham, beating people's ass and stuff. Then have her kind of discover the Belfry, discover the female Batsuit, right? And then be like, oh, okay, yeah, Bruce Wayne knew about you, Batman knew about you running around doing this kind of sort of stuff. And he didn't agree with the way you was doing it, but just in case if you wasn't willing to stop, he made you a suit already. I think that would have worked better to bring her in. And then you can kind of, make up any kind of story or, that you wanted to go with her character. But it's just, it feels like they took the lazy approach in writing to kind of make a show. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but maybe it's the pilot. Like I said, I keep hoping it's the pilot. I really do. Because I liked her character in Caesar. And I think she can do a whole lot better. I think she was also in John Wick, if I remember right. I think she was the chick who didn't talk in John Wick 2. I liked her in that, even though she didn't do a whole lot. But she was small as shit, if I remember right. She's not a tall lady or a buff lady. She's like hell, she's smaller than the average woman, I would say. She's petite. And they even had a line in the trailer where like look, it's Batman. I'm like, how? That's not, I mean, well, I guess the kid that was saying that was like on the ground and she was on a skyscraper, so yeah, okay. But like, there's nobody looking at her and be like, oh, that's Batman. You know, because she clearly looks like a woman. So anyway, let me stop rambling, because I can ramble on a while about comic books and how things translate to the shows and, you know, what I don't like. But that's just my overall opinion on it. I'm definitely not liking the trailer. I'm hoping it's just a pilot and that the rest of the show is better. But if they keep it in the same vein as the trailer, I'm not seeing it. And another thing that bugs me, it's like a lot of the audience that watches superhero shows like The Flash, Arrow, and all that shit, it's not women. well, let me scratch that. Women watch Arrow for what's his name doing all those gymnastic stuff. So like, I can't say that about Arrow. Women do watch Arrow. but the prime demographic for those shows is men like my age, either people my age or kids that are in the comic books. So why would you make a female show for that? Because it's not a lot of females that watch those kind of shows. But you know, that's a video for another day. But anyways, fellas, that's just some of my long-winded, super ranty opinion about the Batwoman show and the trailer and everything, and hopefully it gets better. But if it doesn't, you guys are gonna be seeing me making another rant video about it, you know, bashing the shit out of it. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and thank you for hearing me talk. Peace out.